A lot of things are online and it's getting harder and harder to actually meet up in person, but networking is still powerful. If you want to meet music supervisors, music publishers, or people who work in radio, or anyone who's looking for music, you have to network. There's nothing like a personal connection, but networking is scary. But let me give you one tip that'll help you get over that hump. Become a volunteer. I know you don't want to give up your time. You want to just be making music, but giving your time and trading it to be a volunteer can lead to some great opportunities. Let me explain my scenario. So in Canada, they have something every year called Canadian Music Week. Now, the first year that I came to Canada, I attended the conference as just an attendee. Now, this is what most people do when they think of networking. So Canadian Music Week is all about music, and they had a lot of panels about sync licensing. So I'm thinking, I'll pay a couple of $100, I'll try to network that way. But see, I was in a different mind frame to only think about the people on the panel. And that's what most people do when they go to conferences. They think of the panel as being the only authority, but you forget about all the attendees. See, my mind didn't switch until I actually became a volunteer. So after the first year that I attended it, I thought, wait a minute. One, I can save money if I volunteer, and this would give me skills and different connections may come. See, when you think about it from a panel perspective, let's say you get on a panel and they want your expertise. Well, everybody in the audience is coming to you for something. So the people on the panel already know they're going to have to just give. Let's use the example Shark Tank. Imagine I'm Damon John. I'm highly recognizable. Everybody knows me. He already knows if someone's coming up to him, they probably going to try to pitch him an idea for a business, right? They only thinking about themselves, and that's how we tend to think at conferences. You're only worried about you. You want your music in the show. You want your music in the commercial. You don't even know what they want first. And that's the mistake. So if we shift to being a volunteer mode, they can come to you. So in my example, when I volunteered for Canadian Music Week, they had different places I can go and pick. One year I did it, I chose the green room. Now this was magical. I didn't even know what I was gonna get into, but the green room is magical because every panel member has to come to me. See, it's different. We're chasing the panel for their expertise, their knowledge, their tips, their connections. But I was just sitting behind a desk. They had to come to me to check in. They had to come to me to get their badges. And then they sat in the lounge because why? Some of them don't want to roam around because they're going to get bombarded by just people at the conference asking them questions when they may not want to be asked a question. So they're sitting here in the green room. Now, I didn't approach everybody. You have to have some tact and some mindfulness. When I saw a couple of people by themselves, right, I would approach them with a bottle of water or some snacks. I'm sliding in smooth to network with them. I've already done my research of the people who are going to be at this conference. So I'm like, I want to talk to that person. So I slide in with something soft like, oh, you need some water. I'm doing my job technically. So if we start talking about some different things, it's easier. It's low pressure. They're not around in a panel where everybody is hounding them question after question after question when they might not want to be bothered. So volunteering that year, I got to meet a lot of cool people, a lot of good connections, not only from the panel, but the volunteers themselves. This is another way people sleep on volunteering. See, like I said about the audience, you forget all about the audience, and they are usually easier to get to and network with. There may be someone in the audience who runs a small publishing company. They need music. There may be someone in the audience who has a small internet radio station or podcast. They might need music, and they're easier to get to because they're not expecting other people to talk to them, right? Their focus is, I want to talk to that supervisor. I want to talk to that TV producer. I want to talk to that music producer, that radio station owner. They're not even thinking about you. So when you come over and try to do some niceties, it helps. And also being a volunteer, they come to you, just like the panel. Let's say they get lost. They need some help. Oh, where's this session at? I had to help a lot of people. Usually they're wearing a name badge. I'm looking at their name badge. It says what they do. If they're a music supervisor or a radio owner or whatever. So I'm thinking of ways I can talk to them, and see, that takes the pressure of me going to them, because networking can be scary, especially if you are introvert. So they're coming to me with a question, and we can talk about different things, or at least I know where to start because I know what they do. I know their name on the name badge, and I know what they do. So I'm using these personal things to talk. So if I see someone come to me and be like, oh, hey, John, you need help? They're surprised. Most of the time, they don't even know why I know their name. They forget that they have a name badge on. See, these are little nuggets you can use to help networking and why volunteering is so important. Let me give you another example. I also run a fitness YouTube channel, and I'm into group fitness. I think music and fitness just goes hand in hand. So another fitness conference I went to, CanFit Pro in Canada, I volunteered to do the equipment. And why I did the equipment is because I get to go everywhere, right? And it's the same as like the music conference. People have their name badges on, they have their name, what they do. So I just happened to be in a session with someone else, and we start talking, and she ran an online fitness platform and needed music for her platform. Come on. You can't beat that. But I was in the room because I was a volunteer. See, this session was only for a select group of people. Me as the volunteer to be in there to make sure everything goes good, and these select people. So it makes it easier to talk. And then she introduced me to someone else who's a fitness owner of a huge fitness music library. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to you every time, because there's been conferences where I don't really make that many connections or nothing goes anywhere. But I'm just telling you, that's the power of being a volunteer. So if you're thinking about your music career and trying to get into sync licensing, and you see a conference that you're interested in, let's take NAMM. Now, that's not focused on music licensing, but it's focused on music equipment. So there might be some heavy hitters in there. Check out the volunteer section on their website. They may have one. If they don't, just email them. They probably gonna let you volunteer, right? Like, it's free labor. You're trading your time, but you can get a valuable connection. But remember, something like NAMM, don't go for the panelists. Don't go for the heavy hitters, right? If you see a popular artist there, everybody wants to go to that artist. And you're forgetting about all the other enthusiasts there who have that joy of music. You don't know their roles. You don't know what they do. So being a volunteer can help you learn about what they do, and it can lead to connections. You never know who you're going to talk to when you're doing these things. I like volunteering. One, it gets you in free. I mean, you can't beat that. Some of these conferences cost a lot of money for 3 or 4 day conferences. Now, they might not pay for your hotel stay, but you can team up with someone else, stay in a hotel, pay half price or whatever it is. And you can get that if you volunteer and meet people that's doing it. Y'all work out something for next year so y'all can go and pay half cost for a hotel room. Now, if you enjoyed that nugget and you want some more nuggets about sync licensing, check out this video.